Good morning. It is the start of the new week and I have an exciting week for me planned. I hope it'll be an interesting vlog for you. This week I am doing like a mini meditation retreat. It's actually a meditation intensive. So every day this week I am going to be doing 2 hours in the morning with my meditation teacher here, Neil McKinley. As many of you know, I am part of the lineage of Dharma Ocean, and my teacher here in Victoria is Neil McKinley. And so this week he is running a meditation intensive from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every single day at the Monterey Community Center. And so I'm going to be doing that. And I thought what I would do is every morning I would just do a little video clip before and a little video clip after. So today is the first day. And I just thought I'd talk a little bit about how I'm feeling before I rode my bike here. I'm feeling really good. We've been doing a lot of hiking and walking lately, and actually it felt really good to ride my bike here. And I wish I had something really profound to say about doing meditation for 2 hours this morning, but mostly I'm really excited. There's a lot of excitement in the air. It's a solar eclipse today. So I'm feeling that excitement, and mostly I'm feeling excited that maybe a lot of my friends will be here. Because maybe my friends from the June retreat will be here. And actually I just had a text from my friend Aaron. He texted me, I haven't heard from him in a long time, and I just texted him back and I said, are you coming this morning? So I'm really crossing my fingers, maybe he's going to be here for this week. And also maybe some of my other friends are going to be here. So there you go, there's the truth. It's not about, well, I am excited to sit for 2 hours every day this week. They'll be talking too. And I'm also interested to see if Neil will be talking about the eclipse, because the significance of the eclipse is that it allows us to have some kind of introspection on our shadow side. And I know Reggie talks a lot about that. And so in terms of our true nature, it allows us to reflect on the shadow side of our true nature. So I know I'm going to be talking about that with my students later in our meditation class, so I'm interested to see if Neil will touch on that today as well. So that's it for me. I'm going to be going in a few minutes. I'm early. I came really early. Tim wanted me to come really early today because he was worried about the roads with the eclipse and if people were going to go crazy on the roads. So I'm just sitting here relaxing before I go in. Okay, I will check in with you after meditation this morning. Okay, I just finished my first morning of meditation intensive, and it was a great morning. I really enjoyed it, and I did get to see some of my friends. 4 of my friends were there, and I'm gonna have to remember all their names. Joe was there, Leslie was there, Linda was there, Linda and Sandy from my Friday morning class were there, but Aaron was not there, so I just called him to say he was missed. So this morning, what happened was Neil did this incredible overview of the history of meditation in our lineage, and he's never done that before, and it was so inspiring to see the history of the Buddha, and also where the lineage came from, how Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche came out of Tibet and then came to America. And the big thing that really stood out to me about that whole history lesson, the whole teaching of that, was that Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche really changed things up when he came to America, was in that he actually taught the meditation. Before that, the Tibetan teachers would give a little teaching talk and they would be paid money for that, and the money would go back to Tibet. But what Rinpoche did was he actually taught the meditation like he would teach the other monastics rather than teaching a layperson. And he believed in the Westerners, and he was really exiled for that and cast out in all ways. And so that was a really cool thing. And what stood out to me about that is that Reggie Ray really does that too. Neil really does that too. I've always felt that these teachings are really, really spot on, and we're not getting the watered down teachings in any way. Go ahead. This path is way busier at this time of day than it was when I first came in. And so this is to really be getting the teachings not filtered in any way, but to be really given the teachings is just an amazing gift. So I feel really inspired again. And we also had, every time I start a class with Neil, he goes over the posture meditation, and just being reminded again how important the posture meditation is. Hearing one of the students say that she's been to tons of meditation classes. She's been to tons of meditation classes and never been taught how to sit before, and how, you know, earth-shattering that was for her to be able to sit with ease. And like, that is the whole thing, really, to be able to sit with comfort. Then, you know, how can you possibly meditate if you're not comfortable? So that was really cool this morning as well. So excited for the next day, and we're going to be kind of sampling the 6 stages this week and of the journey, the human developmental journey. And I'm very excited about it. So that's day 1, and Neil has actually agreed to come on camera this week too, so that's very cool too. So that's it for me this afternoon. I'm going home, doing some lesson planning, teaching some meditation later on today, and I'll check in with you tomorrow morning. Good morning. It is Tuesday morning. This morning I've stopped in the park on my way to riding my bike to Oak Bay. This morning I am feeling tired, like every cell in my body is feeling tired. We've had friends in town for the last 5 days from Ontario, visiting from out of town, so we haven't seen them since we moved 3.5 years ago. So it's been really great having them in town, and you know, we've been taking them all around, and last night was their last night here, so we were out for dinner with them, and I didn't get to bed till 11 o'clock, which is really late for me. It's like 2 hours past my bedtime. So this morning I'm feeling tired, but I'm also very much looking forward to today. Meditation. We are going to be meditating more today, which I'm very much looking forward to. And also yesterday, so it's interesting, I'm part of this lineage. I took refuge in the Dharma Ocean community, and since doing this retreat, I've heard from my friends out of town that are in this Dharma Ocean community that are also part of the lineage. So yesterday I spent some time talking to Aaron on the phone. He lives up island in Nanaimo, and we were talking, he was talking about just, you know, opening to whatever energy you have. And I spent a lot of time recently kind of resisting the more zingy energy of summer, wanting to get back to kind of my equilibrium and normal. And he was kind of talking to me about, you know, just opening to the energy that is, and that felt really good. And then this morning I heard from my friend Laura Parker from California. So if I have some extra time when I get to meditation, which I probably will, because I left super early so that I didn't have to rush there at all, because I know I'm tired, and I thought if I can just go slow, that'll preserve my energy. So day 2, looking forward to the meditation and seeing what comes. Oh, and I felt inspired by my friend Leslie too. She always dresses so nicely. So I got my earrings on and my scarf on. And my friend Annie, who also does meditation, you know, she talks about how showing up, you know, dressing ourselves up is part of how we show up for our practice too. So got my little lip gloss on and my scarf, my earrings to show up to, that's part of showing up for meditation, and I think she's right about that too. So okay, off I go on my bike. I'm halfway there so far. Stopped in this beautiful park. Okay, I'm right back where I started this morning, halfway home on my bike, and I'm still feeling tired. So this morning we did meditation, and the talks this morning was all about how the way meditation is presented in the media, well, it wasn't all about this, but I'll get to what it was all about. The way meditation is presented in the media is only part of the picture, and the whole picture is that our meditation will open this up to something bigger. So meditation gets presented as it's going to bring you peace and relaxation, and really it opens you up to so much more. Things come up when we meditate. And what Neil talked about a lot today is that when we meditate, we learn how to accept. Acceptance was the big theme today. Everything that comes up. And so what I got to practice accepting today in my meditation practice was tiredness. Sitting there and trying not to fall asleep. And that's really interesting. And what was coming up for me in the practice today was Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche says, every mind state is workable. And that kept going through my mind. Like, every mind state is workable. Even this mind state of, droopy eyes, falling asleep. I kept thinking every mind state is workable. And also I'm really fighting like a little cold or something. It's sitting right in my chest and really being with that intense sensation in my chest this morning. So, and this past month has been really kind of intense, the intense energy of summer. And I've been fighting myself a lot against it. I think I even spoke about this yesterday. And it's kind of been softening over the last few days with this theme of acceptance that's coming up. I was talking to Aaron about it yesterday, and then Neil's been talking about it this week. And just, there's been a softening around it, like that's what's up for me. And there's an intensity and there's an excitement. And so just bringing acceptance to that, this is me and that's okay. So that was what was up this morning, and I'm gonna ride my bike home now. So gonna have a nap this afternoon. That's the plan. Some lesson planning, but first a nap, a good solid nap. Good morning. It is day 3 of the meditation intensive, and I have my chauffeur this morning. I got tired and okay, this might be TMI of his first day of my cycle, so I didn't want to ride my bike this morning. Too much information?
Yes.
Not for the ladies. They'll understand. Anyway, so day 3, and I think that today we're going to be doing the earth descent practices, the earth practices. So that will be nice, very grounding practices, connecting with the earth, and I think that'll be good. So I'm trying to think about what I want to say about my anticipation for today, and all I can think to say is that I'm grateful that I got a ride there this morning, and that we will be doing grounding practices, and I'm looking forward to the teachings about them today, and I will check in with you after. Okay, day 3, and I thought there was going to be way more talk about earth descent today, but it was continuation of the theme of acceptance today. So that is obviously going to be the theme for the entire week, is acceptance. And today we moved into the practice of pure awareness. Actually, we did do a little bit of earth descent, but pure awareness and impulse. And so it was really interesting to me is that we talked about the discernment between impulse and responsiveness. So when you feel the need to respond to something versus when you should stay with something. So that was a very interesting discussion for me today. And also Neil handed out a really wonderful chant today. Dharma Ocean has actually a lot of chants, and we received a beautiful chant specific to Dharma Ocean for acceptance today, and so I think I will add that to my daily practice. When he handed it out, it was like receiving a beautiful gift. So that was today, and this afternoon we are filming, and then I will be back for day 4. I think I will be back on my bike tomorrow. I'm feeling a lot better after this afternoon. Good morning. It is Friday morning. I missed Thursday yesterday. I forgot my mic at home. And then by the time I got home, I hope you can't hear that power saw. It's lawn mowing and power saws and leaf blowers wherever I go. Anyway, yesterday when I got home, I got caught up because we ended up going to the accountant, and then we did the Facebook live stream for the golden milk latte, and the golden milk turmeric latte, and oh my gosh, it was so popular. It already had 2,000 views this morning. The next day, 11 shares. And actually what happened to me is I drank a whole golden milk on the Facebook live, and then we filmed another one, so we had a polished version for the website. So I drank another one, and then after that I couldn't barely keep my eyes open. It was 7:30 and I was like falling asleep. I barely get dinner together for my family. I somehow managed to stay up till my normal bedtime, which was around 9:30, and then I just zonked out, slept through the whole night. So that was my night last night. Long drawn out way to say. Get to the point, Melissa. So my reflection for yesterday was on the 3 jewels. This is like, I keep coming back to this, and the 3 jewels are the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Yesterday I got an email from somebody in response to a gift that I give away, which is a 7-day yoga series for anxiety. And after doing the 7 days, which was amazing, congratulations for sticking with it and doing it all the way to the end, she sent me an email and said, I think the most important thing is that we focus on ourselves. And because I at some point in this series, I say one of the important things for anxiety is to come into community. And I have to say, in my own experience, every time in August, in summer, I really struggle with my practice, sort of midsummer, at the end of the summer. And I had this insight this morning that the reason this is because I'm missing 2 of the 3 jewels in summer. And they are the Dharma, the teachings, and the Sangha, my community. And this week, being in immersion with my teacher and the teachings and the Sangha, my community of people who are dedicated to a genuine path of spiritual transformation, it's allowed me to really recommit to my practice and reground in my practice in a really effortless way. Because if I'm doing it by myself, it's all discipline and all effort, and that eventually falls apart. It's really difficult to sustain, but with a community, with a teacher and the teachings, the 3 jewels all together, it's magic. So that's what really stood out to me yesterday. I'm looking forward to today. It's the last day. You're going to get to meet Neil today and hear my final wrap-up thoughts. So I'm going to head to class now. I'm riding my bike today, and I will talk to you after class. Oh yeah, just one more thing. Can you believe these leaves are changing on the trees already? It's just the end of August. Autumn's coming. Hey, hello. I have a treat for you today. I talk about this man all the time, and now you finally get to meet him. This is my meditation teacher, Neil, and we've just finished up the 5-day meditation intensive, which was such a treat. I am so grateful to have spent those 5 days, because for me, actually at this time of year, Neil, I almost never struggle with my practice, but actually in the summer, sort of towards the end of July into August, it's the time of year I always struggle with my practice. So
ideal.
Yeah, good timing.
Great.
So while I have you, I have a couple of questions for you. I just want to know how the week was for you. What stood out for you about this week?
Well, the week, it's always wonderful. I've been doing this immersion for 8-10 years now, towards the end of every summer, and it's always wonderful to do that. Just the diversity of students and the ordinariness of the situation. We're meeting for 2 hours every morning in a urban recreation center. So all of us have our lives beforehand, all of us have our lives afterwards, and we're spending a couple of hours in the middle of the day practicing together and talking about practice. And that ordinariness leads to the event having a real potency and distinct flavor for me. So it's wonderful to do on that level. In terms of the takeaway, of course there's several, but I think one of the ones that really hits me this time around is it's really easy to look at the world and conclude that we human beings are pretty crazy, that we're pretty screwed up and that were pretty problematic. And I think we do a lot of that. If you're anything like me, we do a lot of that, looking at the news, reading the newspapers, just seeing what's going on in the world. But one of the things that came out of this particular week for me is the opposite. Yes, I don't think we can deny that we're a little bit crazy and we cause a certain amount of problems in the world. And at the same time, there's this sanity and this clarity and this light and this tenderness and this warmth and this compassion that's in us. And all it takes is a little bit of time and a little bit of willingness to develop a relationship with that. And that's really what I saw this weekend. People were beautiful in their questions, in their curiosity, in their willingness to try new things. And I think all of us were touching a layer of ourselves that was a little bit below the craziness that I just mentioned. And that to me is so, so, so exciting, because for me, I feel like one of the things that we need in the world most is more of our humanity. And what I'm meaning is more of our sanity and more of our clarity and more of our compassion. And I saw that again and again and again. I felt that again and again and again this week.
Beautiful. Okay, so round 2. My arm had a little break there. Because most people know me as a teacher and hear about you all the time as my teacher, I thought this would be a fun question to ask you. Because I'm not a teacher in your class at all. I show up fully, I believe. We're going to find out in a second here. I show up in your class as a student, I believe. So my question for you is, what is it like to have me as a student in your class?
Well, I think there's a twofold answer to that. I mean, the first thing is great. Great. Melissa is a fantastic student. And so, let's unpack that. What does that mean?
I've been a student for almost a whole year now.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. We're celebrating a year.
October. Yeah. So, what does that mean? An awesome student, a fantastic student. And I think there's twofold answer to that. One is she's willing to do the work. She comes to class, she practices at home, she studies, she does the work. And the second thing that really stands out for me is that she is willing to ask questions. There's a curiosity and inquisitiveness and intelligence, and she's willing to bring that into not only our relationship, but her relationship with the group, the classes or the programs, the workshops that we're part of, which is helpful to her, it's helpful to myself, and it's helpful to all those others. So an awesome student, and for 2 reasons. Yeah,
so I wasn't really fishing for compliments.
I know. But it's true.
But I think it's a good question, right? What it means to be a student. Like, I think when you come to class, it's important to show up as a student.
Yes.
Like, I think when you show up with Reggie, you show up as a student, I'm guessing.
Yes. Yeah. And so, and that is, I think, a hallmark of my experience with Reggie, is a devotion to the teachings, which means I practice and I study, which Melissa does, and a willingness to be curious about what's being presented and to bring that curiosity into our relationship and into the group, which is asking questions.
Yeah. Sometimes I think I ask too many questions in class, but you usually tell me when I'm going on a bit much, which I'm fine with. That's actually a good learning point for me too. And you're like, okay,
let's practice.
Yeah. But I just want to milk it when I'm there because it's like such a great opportunity. But anyway, thank you. I know you have an appointment, and I really appreciate you taking the time. And everybody, extra thumbs up for Neil coming on this video today, because see, you get to meet him. See, he's not an imaginary person. And make sure you go to neilmckinlay.com. And we'll put it on the screen here, and I'll put it in the show notes, because Neil, if you want to see a little bit of what we did today, Neil, you did say that 3 of the practices that we practiced this week, you've got guided meditations for on your site. So if you want to know what we did this week, then you could do it too.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
meet you there.
Yes. Okay. So thank you so much, and I will see you in about 10 days again.
Yeah.
Online and in person.
It never ends.
Never ends. Okay. Thanks. Okay, so I thought I would just close out this vlog now and tell you my major takeaway for the week. It won't be as beautiful as Neil's, but it was, I had some pretty major realizations this week. And my big takeaway was because we did the bodhicitta practices today, the heart practices, and it's something that's really been percolating for me this whole month of August, which is a real awareness of, and then my Phoenix Rising Yoga Therapy teacher Michael Lee always says, with awareness opens the doors to acceptance, and it really has in this case. So a real awareness of my experience of anxiety, and this has just been an ongoing theme for me. I don't know if a lot of you know this, but anxiety is something that has a lot of presence in my life. And so through the heart practices this week and through the awareness of it, I've come to realize that it's okay. It's a part of me, and I'm really probably not going to put this into words very well, but there's just been a huge acceptance of it. And also just part of the teachings today was that I really need to just pause this and go look at my notes, I think. You can know it in your body, but then to be able to speak it intellectually is a whole other thing. So one thing that Neil said today when he was teaching was that it just feels so crappy to be separate from our body and from our experience and from our lives. And so for me, I had that kind of light bulb moment that all those times that I'm experiencing anxiety, it's kind of like that bell that maybe Thich Nhat Hanh talks about, to bring me back to my body, to bring me back to my experience, and that it's really not a problem. And so that's been part of the acceptance of the anxiety that I experienced this week, and just the heart practices too, of inviting in that part of myself and welcoming me in. And it was just really beautiful this week. So that's it for me for this week for my experience of this immersion. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Let me know in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed meeting Neil as well. I really appreciated him taking the time. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. We're going to Hornby camping next week, so I hope you'll join us for that as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.